Hello, comrades, and welcome back to Ushanka Show, stories about life in the Soviet Union and former Soviet Union. Video программа Ushanka Show. So I just realized it's been a while when we talked about humor in the Soviet Union, and if you're new to my channel, I have a playlist which is called Soviet Humor, which has already about 11 videos. You're welcome to check it out. I'll post the link in the comments section below this video. And I know, telling Soviet jokes, or as we call them, anecdotes, is kind of unthankful business. The only person who succeeded to tell the Soviet jokes really well was Ronald Reagan, and ain't Ronald Reagan. But it was an important part of the Soviet culture, so if anyone who is interested to learn about the realities of life in the Soviet Union, they need to know about Soviet anecdote. This year, 2021, will be... Some people will be celebrating, I guess. Some people will be mourning 30 years since the collapse of the Soviet Union back in 1991. A lot of things changed in Russia and Ukraine in these 30 years, and one of these kind of unusual changes that the culture of telling anecdote kind of faded away. People now crack jokes professionally. So-called comedy clubs are very popular in Russia and Ukraine. So the whole culture of sitting in the kitchen, drinking, smoking cigarettes, and sharing anecdote definitely went away. Modern generation don't have that anymore. I also had an anniversary this year. I turned 50 in 2021. I was born in 1971, so I'm almost an old-timer, and anecdote culture was huge for me and still quite big, so that's why I keep on talking about it. If you follow my channel, you should know that in Soviet Union, jokes were kind of similar to some American jokes. So here in America, if you want to tell a joke about a stupid person, there'll be a joke about Polish jokes, or jokes about blondes. And in the Soviet Union, Polish jokes were Chukchi jokes. So that's Eskimos, they live on the Far East. Or jokes about Moldovians, Moldavania. So there will be two nationalities that pretty much all these stupid jokes were related to. Now, when it was time to have a joke about someone who is a filthy rich person, there'll be jokes about Georgians, people who lived in Georgian Soviet Socialist Republic, Gruzinski anecdote. Recently, someone posted a question why Georgians were so rich in Soviet Union, and the answer is quite simple. They held virtual monopoly for the subtropical fruits, since Georgia located on the shores of Black Sea and it has a really nice subtropical climate. They could grow oranges, mandarins, pomegranates, grapes. So they were able to grow it, and then they shipped all over the Soviet Union and they sold it at premium price. They, as I said, they hold the monopoly, so they charged arm and a leg and another arm, which made them very rich. So here's a classic example of the rich Georgian joke. So there's a line to the store to buy vodka, and it's getting dark, and suddenly one of the guys, a Russian, gets on his knees and started searching on the ground, and a Georgian behind him is like, my friend, what are you looking for? He's like, oh my god, I just dropped 50 kopecks and I really need it to buy this bottle of vodka. So Georgian guy pulls out of his pocket 10 ruble bill, lifts it up. Let me give you some light, comrade. So here's example, poor Russian looking for some change. He dropped on the ground, and a Georgian burns 10 rubles to help him out. But after the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991, we had an interesting shift in the jokes about filthy rich. Suddenly Georgians weren't that rich, but we had this new, I won't say generation, this new group of people who became filthy rich during this transition from socialism to wild capitalism. And those people, usually young guys in their 20s and 30s, maybe 40s, they got a nickname Novые Ruskие, New Russians. And that's the people who managed to get filthy rich really quick, mostly criminal ways, and now they're burning money left and right, just to show off and just because they don't know what else to do with the money. So after this super long intro, we finally arrived to the topic of today's video. We're gonna talk about jokes about the New Russians. Новые русские анекдоты. A lot of such jokes involves Mercedes 600, so-called 600 Mercedes, as we say in Russian. So if you really became rich in Russia, you don't buy BMW, you don't buy Jeep Cherokee, those kind of like a bandit cars. If you really made it to that super rich level, you buy Mercedes 600 limo. And most of this Mercedes 600 jokes would be involved car accidents with ZAZ Zaporozhets at the stoplight. So it's a classic joke. Mercedes 600 stops at the red light and gets rear-ended by Zaporozhets, and then, there'll be conversation. Unfortunately, I couldn't find anything I could translate and make it funny, so I'm just telling you for general understanding. If someone knows any good jokes that sound good in English, please post in your comments and we will laugh at it together. But there is a good one involves the horse and the buggy. So, new Russian driving, of course, speeding in his Mercedes 600 out in the country. So he plows into the horse buggy. Some old kolkhoznik guy was riding his horse, and of course, everyone flies into the ditch. So the new Russian gets out his Mercedes and he sees, this horse buggy, all of course in pieces, old man moaning on the ground, and the horse, of course, like in bad shape. So the new Russian guy pulls out a pistol out of his pocket, and put the horse out of its misery, shots it dead. That turns to the old man. He's like, "Hey, old man, how you feeling?" And the old guy looks at him like, "I feel great. I feel even better than it was before the accident. Thank you so much for asking." A lot of new Russian jokes relate to the fact that somehow the most successful new Russians were people that didn't do great in school. They were like failing students, but they somehow managed to make money in the murky waters in that period of time when the socialism was disappearing, privatization started happening. They were the best people who knew how to make money. So here's the example. So two guys meet, former schoolmates. One had excellent grades and one had barely passing classes. So the second one became new Russian, super rich. So the smart guy is like, "Ivan, I don't understand. How is it possible for you to earn money and make money when you barely could add 2 and 2? And the guy replies, "I'm surprised myself. It's actually pretty easy to run the business. I buy items for one price and I sell them on the market for 2 prices. And using this 2% margin, that's plenty for me to live on and make a lot of money." Here's another one on a similar topic. So the new Russian calls his former math teacher and asking her, "Maria Ivanovna, I'm sorry to bother you, but how many zeros $1 million has?" And she's like, well, 6 zeros. Then she hears on the background, "See, I told you, 1 million has 6 zeros, so 2 million should have 12. You didn't bring me enough money." And of course, new Russian jokes had to cover the topic that a lot of people became super poor and others became super rich, became new Russians, while in a previous life under socialism, they were pretty much equal. So here's the example. So there's two former friends meet, they were going to school together, and one became new Russian, so he's, big fat dude, and another one really skinny, and he's like, "Dude, what happened to you? You're so skinny." He's like, "I didn't eat any food for 2 days." So the new Russian looks at him. "God damn it, man. I wish I had your willpower." Another variation of the fat and skinny new Russian joke is that two friends meet and he's like once again asking why you're so skinny. And his friend replies, "Well, I didn't eat anything all day." And he's like, "My friend, you need to force yourself to eat. Don't do that to yourself. You need to force yourself." And then, of course, since the new Russians were extremely rich, there was a situation that a lot of young girls were trying to become, girlfriends and wives so they can share the spoils. So there's example of jokes like that. So these two new Russians meet and they're talking about life, and one guy, "I fell in love, but the problem that she is 25 and I'm 65, but I'm still thinking I'm gonna propose to her. Do you think she will say yes if I tell her that I'm 55, not 65? And another guy is like, no, no, no. She will tell you yes if you tell her you are 75, not 65. And back to the topic of the new Russians in education. So there's two new Russians buddies drinking, and one guy's like, dude, really? You have a diploma of assistant of professor? You know, they'll be like kandidat nauk in Russian. Did you buy it? And the other guy's like, no, I would never buy diploma. It's not right. No, my friends gave it to me as a present. Another huge change that happened in the former Soviet Union is after the collapse, going to church became almost like a trendy thing. So prior, you would never go to church when you're getting married. Suddenly, that was the thing to do, is go to church for your marriage. Then any religious holiday, you're supposed to show up there. So there's a joke that relates to that. So there's one new Russian complaining to another one. He's like, man, this new generation, I can't believe it. I went to the church yesterday, and everyone is singing psalms, everyone is praying, and suddenly I see this chick next to me. She pulls out a cigar and starts smoking it. I almost dropped my beer. And of course, we had a lot of jokes related to the spoiled kids of new Russian families, because, their parents got so much money that kids are spoiled. They got the latest gadgets. At that time, of course, if your kid has a cell phone, that was already a topic for the jokes. But there's a nice example of jokes about the spoiled new Russian kids. So this kid calls his dad, who is a new Russian. He's like, Dad, you need to populate Australia with polar bears as quick as possible. Please ship a bunch of them there. Otherwise, I'm gonna fail my geography class. One of my favorite jokes about new Russians was that 3 new Russians sitting in banya, in a wet sauna, and just, hanging out, drinking alcohol, and suddenly one guy just put his hand towards his ear and started talking, and they're like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I forgot to mention, I just had a plastic surgery, and I got this newest device. They installed the cell phone right inside of my palm, so now I don't need to carry it, and I can answer my phone even in sauna. So look at that. It cost me a lot of money, but it's well worth it. So of course, 2 other guys so impressed. They're like, oh man, we need to do the same. They keep on, hanging out, drinking. And suddenly the guy like, okay, dudes, I'm sorry, but I need to go to the bathroom for a little bit. I feel like a fax is coming. And the last joke is a little bit dirty. So there's a new Russian guy. Someone tried to kill him and blew up his car. He survived, but he lost his arm. So he paid tons of money to some Japanese company to design a robotic arm, but unfortunately the technology wasn't there to have it, manipulated with your brain. So there was a voice activated arm, so you just tell arm what to do, itch your head, wipe your butt, and arm will do it. So the guy got it all hooked up and he was extremely happy. So one day this new Russian guy is like, you know what, I wonder if that hand can help me to please myself. He tells arm, I want to jerk off. And there's no reaction, arm doesn't move. He's once again like, I want to jerk off. No reaction. So he calls 1-800 number to the manufacturers like, what the hell is going on? I'm telling my arm to jerk off and it doesn't react. So Japanese like, well, according to our manual, it's only responds to the proper language, so you need to say, I would like to masturbate, and it should work. So this new Russian hung up the phone and tells his arm, I would like to masturbate, and sure enough, his hand started working, and I'm sitting there in the chair all happy, and then he's like, oh man, it feels so good, I wish I could have some oral sex right now. So his arm automatically grabs his head by the hair and bends him down towards his dick. And before we wrap up, I want to tell you my favorite blonde joke that I learned here in America. It's, why do blondes love BMWs so much? Because it's so easy to spell. Well, дорогие товарищи, my dear comrades, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you chuckled here and there. As I said, it's always a challenge to tell the Russian anecdotes to American public, but I'm trying. So anyways, don't forget to like this video, share with your friends, and we'll talk to you soon. До свидания, goodbye. Hey, by the way, the cool merch for cool comrades is available at the Ushanka store at teespring.com. Just a friendly reminder that my book American Diaries is available on amazon.com, or shoot me an email if you would like to have a signed copy. Thank you. And if you love my channel and would like to show your support, please click on the link below this video and become the patron of the Ushanka Show. For as little as $1, you can help us grow and create the new, interesting videos about the life and